Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name's Natalie and today's video is going to be a little bit of a mental health rant, so feel free to click off if that's not what you're interested in. I know a lot of you don't like that I share this part of my life online, but I share this part of my life online for those people out there who can take something from it and can have a relatable social experience. I've got a bit of a shtick with the mental health care system in Australia, and I'd just like to run you through sort of an experience that I've had over the last 2 weeks, and then how I was treated in hospital by my doctors and the way that it came across in the hospital, and just how I think it really needs to be improved and catered to a lot better. So the last time I had my surgery, I was actually in a manic phase. For those of you who don't know, I have manic depression, which is basically bipolar 2. And I was in a manic phase and it was pretty unruly, so I had to be medicated on a medication called Seroquel, which is an antipsychotic, and it basically just brings you back down to a level of normal function where you're not acting erratically all the time, which was fine. It was fine. I wasn't sleeping at the time, so it helped me sleep and it helped me be a bit more rational and a bit better with like money and things like that. There are a lot of symptoms that go into things like this, so I'm just going to briefly glaze over them for you. And yeah, so this time I thought I would be proactive because I could feel myself sort of slipping into a similar mood mindset. So I called up my GP, my general practitioner, my doctor, to book a mental health care plan, because here in Australia, if you are classified as low income, and I think that's basically anyone who's earning under $20,000 a year, you can get a mental health care plan for free, where they give you 6 free sessions or 6 discounted sessions, which are only like $10 a session, at specified clinics. And then if you go into review, they will, depending on if you need it or not, they can give you an extra 4 sessions for free, so 10 all up per calendar year. I've seen the same therapist for the last 3 years, and so I kind of depend on her to sort of understand where I'm coming from and regulate and understand when I'm not able to regulate my own mood. So this time around I rang up my GP, and my GP was on holidays, so I had to book in with a different GP. So I have this booked. Now what this basically gets me is a referral to the clinic that I go to normally, because it's a referral only basis. So in order to, like, I don't know, concrete my sort of position at the clinic, and I knew I was getting the referral, I thought I would be proactive, call the clinic and explain that I would be getting a referral. I understand that they work on a time slot basis, so basically you get put onto a waiting list, and when an available time becomes available with a specified therapist that you see, you basically get allocated that time slot every week for as long as you need. And they had a new receptionist working on the phone this particular day, and I called up and I explained my situation. I said, look, I'm going into surgery in like a week and a half, and I understand that you work on a waiting list and there would be people in front of me. However, if there is any cancellation in your waiting list for this specified therapist, is it okay if I take that 1 session prior to my surgery? Because it's very important that if I need medication, I get put on medication, because it affects sort of my healing process and it affects my drug interaction in terms of like painkillers and things like that. To which she basically blatantly told me that no, not possible, you can't push in the line, we don't give out time slots for therapists, we just give out time slots. So you're waiting for a time slot, not a therapist. So as I said before, I've been seeing the same person for the last 3 years, and she's the first therapist that's actually taken me seriously and correctly diagnosed me. I was like, no, I completely understand there's a waiting list, but like, I don't think you understand what I'm trying to say. So whatever, we basically got into a little bit of a catfight on the phone. I mean, I'm somebody who can admit when I'm wrong, so I mouthed off at her on the phone because she was really starting to annoy me. Because she just wasn't getting it. She was treating this like it was like a number service, and nobody that actually used the clinic was there for anything important, and like I was just get in line, get a number. And it annoyed me because I've been through situations like this before, where you are trying to be proactive and get yourself help, and nobody listens. And sometimes, honestly, like in my honest opinion, it feels like you have to do something drastic and literally be standing in front of someone screaming or like threatening your life or somebody else's life to get anyone to pay attention to you, and it really shouldn't be like that. So that annoyed me to the point where I rang up my doctor and I cancelled my appointment, because I was like, there's no way I'm getting in now, and I can't sort of move 2 weeks after surgery to get in anyway, so what's the point? So that was that experience prior to the surgery. And then I get into the surgery and I'm doing pre-admission with the pre-admissions nurse, and she's like, oh, you have anxiety. And I was like, no, I don't have anxiety. I was misdiagnosed with anxiety, but that's not what I've written on my admission sheet. she's like, oh, well, what do you have then? I was like, well, I have manic depression. And she's like, oh, I don't know what that is. I'm like, bipolar 2. And she's like, oh, well. And she just didn't know what to say. And I'm sort of really sick of getting that reaction off people because it happens a lot. There's a lot of like my own family members who just don't get it. Or they read manic depression and they don't make the association, and then they're like, well, you know, just like pop some pills and get over it. And I'm like, I don't, this is chronic. I can't just get over it. Like, as much as I appreciate the fact that if I could get over it, I just would, it just doesn't work like that. That annoyed me because I've faced that reaction so many times before, and it's like you have to constantly validate and justify yourself and your condition to people before they'll even look at you as a person, and not just like, oh my god, crazy. And then pre-op, to get my like cannula and everything in and my drains and whatever sorted for afterwards, I had another nurse come in and she was going through my admissions booklet again, and they just have to like reiterate what you've said is correct. So like, you name your birthday and they go through your allergies and things like that. And then she got to the psychiatric involvement and she wouldn't say it. She just wouldn't say it. She just looked at me and was like, and I was like, yes. She tiptoed around the word. And these are people who work in a medical environment. These are people who work in hospitals. These are people who work with mental health. These are people who can't even say the word and acknowledge it. And it's like, how the hell do we expect the general public and like wider society to accept people when people in the primary field don't even acknowledge it? Like, it's like, oh, we'll just hush hush, we're not gonna say this out loud. Why not? It exists, I exist, I have it. It's hard. Acknowledge it. It's not gonna hurt you, you're not gonna get it, it's not contagious, it's not gonna, your tongue's not gonna fall out your face if you say it. Just say it, and then accept it for what it is, and if help is required, offer it. Like, I don't understand why it's such a bloody hard concept for some people. I'm just sick of having to justify myself all the time. And sometimes I get messages on here like, you shouldn't talk about that stuff out loud. This is the whole reason why I talk about it, because no one will talk about it. And I'm sick of feeling isolated about it. And I'm sick of other people who have it feeling like they can't talk to anyone, because it is hard. Like, it's not easy. There's a whole side of it that even people that talk about it won't talk about because we're mildly in denial about it because it's that bad sometimes. All I would like is just a little bit of validation that says, okay, cool, you have this, but you're still a person, and I appreciate the fact that you're open and honest about it, but this isn't going to change how I view you. Which currently, it feels like that's the only thing it does, is it warps people's opinion of you. So that's grinding my gears a lot lately, and I just kind of wanted to get that out there. That's me, I'm done. Thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing. Thank you for sitting with me through this probably very long rant. I appreciate all of the support from you guys who reach out to me on Instagram and Twitter, and you know, share stories with me, because I genuinely do care about what you have to say. Sometimes I'm having a shit day, and sometimes I can come across a bit snappy, and I'm sorry and I apologize for that. But don't ever feel like you can't come and talk to me if there's something that you really need to say and you have nobody, because I'm not the person that's gonna turn you away. So yeah, thanks guys. Hope you all have a wonderful day, and I will see you all in my next video.